This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Well, a second indictment, as you well know, has dropped. Two indictments and one superseding indictment, totaling 3 from the federal government against Donald Trump for both his crimes related to the violation of the Espionage Act, but also his crimes related to trying to end democracy in America. I am joined today once again, it has just become a regular thing, by Cliff Schecter, famed political consultant, author of a best-selling book on John McCain. He now hosts his own YouTube channel, Takedown with Cliff Schecter, on the Blue Amp YouTube channel. Search any one or a number of those terms and you will find him. Cliff, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I don't ever mean to correct you because you are a genius and you know this.
Wait, what did I get wrong?
I think it may be 3 indictments plus the superseding one.
Well,
right?
I'm not.
There's Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, I'm only counting federal.
Gotcha.
Right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. What's awesome is that we have to do that with Donald Trump. It's like, wait a minute, Cliff, you're wrong. We're just counting the federal indictments here.
Yeah.
We'll add the local, state, city, the county.
Let me ask you this. That brings up a question. So we got some clips here we're going to play. You're aware of what the clips are. Everybody a glimpse behind the curtain, how the sausage is made here on the show. But let me ask you this. It's not a scripted question. Are you at all surprised, or is it still shocking to you that Republicans, in the face of multiple indictments for many crimes, a serial criminality on Donald Trump, are you at all surprised or still have some level of shock that they are behind him 100%?
I don't, and that's actually really sad.
Yeah.
I switched over from doing an audio podcast to what I do on YouTube now. And so I had an audio podcast in 2018, 2019, whenever the first of those impeachment hearings, right? Mm-hmm. This guy trying to extort Ukraine to help his campaign against, get dirt on Joe Biden. And then the second indictment, the second impeachment. And during a lot of that time, other things that didn't even rise to that level and should have been impeachment worthy. And they kept saying, how can these people do this? Like, this is the Republican Party I saw growing up that, like, Russia was the devil.
Yeah.
And they know this guy's in bed with Putin, and they're sitting there and they're getting his back and they're going to genuflect before, like, Russian, KGB or whatever, FSB on the 4th of July. Like, how can this really be happening? But when you see it again and again and again, you realize they had a chance years ago to break from him and to fight for that part of the party that didn't know Trump fully well yet. And they may have lost, right? But they didn't. They cowered at every single moment they could. The toughest critics on him were really tough once they left office and had nothing to lose anymore. Your Jeff Flakes and people like that. So the end result is the MAGA base is a frothing, beast. It's a Jabberwocky. It's like what's the one, the Rancor in Star Wars? You feed it some meat, it's a irrational fascist movement, and they have to keep. So they're tied to this guy now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic to see someone like Tim Scott, or people like that do this, but like they are so tied to him because they've defended him so many times, that I'm not shocked at all. There's nothing. They've destroyed their party. They've destroyed their ideology, and he's all they have left.
I think there's something to be said that when your party doesn't have any core ideologies other than owning the libs, which is the new way for the Republican Party. There's no other. You have no other choice but to double down, triple down, quadruple down, whatever the next downing is, and they've proven that. So let's get to a couple of these clips first.
So much fun these clips are going to be. I can't wait.
Yeah, I really, it's a spoiler alert that this first clip is not serious at all. Just like the person in the clip is not a serious person. Stephen Miller, with his fake bravado and outrage about the criminalizing of this, and this indictment is the criminalizing of that. Everything is criminalized for Stephen Miller. Watch this.
Sean, this indictment is the legal equivalent of the French guillotine, the reign of terror. This is a mob mentality to take out Donald Trump. They are criminalizing free speech. They are criminalizing resistance to the deep state. They are criminalizing the questioning of an election result. They are criminalizing any resistance to Democrat officials in the states who violated election laws. They are criminalizing anyone who resists DOJ on any level, on any policy matter whatsoever. Free speech will not survive if this indictment succeeds.
Cliff, your reaction to this very serious leveling of charges.
Do you think anybody's ever sat down with a doll next to Stephen Miller and said, "Can you point to where somebody hurt you?" You know, I mean, if they had come up on Stephen Miller and surprised him in the middle of the night, they probably would have caught him hanging upside down sleeping.
Yeah, I wonder if he's really more concerned about the criminalizing of his, all I want to do is suck your blood. Now they're criminalizing that.
I mean, this rich young kid from Santa Monica, what happened to him? And I mean, beyond all that, of course, what he's saying is utterly ridiculous, right? The good thing, actually, though, is it's a good primer. If you watch it and you take out the words Donald Trump, he's telling you everything the Republican Party is actually doing.
Without a doubt.
All the things they're trying to criminalize that normal humans, not just Democrats, but Americans every day do. That's what they're doing. But I mean, no, unhinged, the guillotine, we're getting to Robespierre and Jacobin territory here. I mean, it's absurd. He's absurd.
Speaking of absurd, you just handed me like a gift on a silver platter, much like all of Donald Trump's life. You've given me a great segue. The absurdity of Fox News and their coverage of this entire thing all night long. Jesse Waters, another one who's just been given everything, a talentless hack. He had the audacity in the intro segment on his show, talking about the indictment, to attack Jack Smith, but not for the reason that you think. Watch this.
Biden's Justice Department has just brought criminal charges against Donald Trump, his political opponent, for the third time in 4 months. This time, the charges relate to January 6th.
Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail.
That was Special Counsel Jack Smith, who looked like a bedraggled, nervous wreck, dripping with anger and highly emotional.
A bedraggled, I mean, he gave me a new word, so that's great. But
I thought it was more bedazzled myself, but
dripping with hate and like that was the only way for Jack Smith to have come across more boring in that clip is for him to have been asleep while delivering that message. There was no dripping with hate. There was dripping with anything. Jack Smith was being about as dispassionate as a prosecutor can be in this particular case.
I mean, the only thing you could even say that was semi-true is you could say, yeah, he looked a little nervous. Getting up and announcing that your indictments for the former president of the United States, the first time in our 230-year history, might make somebody nervous. Angry? I mean, this is a channel, Jesse Waters got his start under Bill O'Reilly.
Right.
The do it live guy. Remember that old clip of him?
Of course.
I mean, the guy that sexually harassed anything around him, including inanimate objects. Like, this is who he got his started. This is a channel that highlights, it highlighted for years, Tucker Carlson. Highlights, Sean Hannity every night and Laura Ingraham. But Jack Smith, he's one angry bastard, that guy. I mean, he was completely calm, completely in control. If anything, a little nervous, which I thought was the right approach to this, because this is a big thing that we're doing here, and a necessary thing, but a big thing. So, I mean, try selling that, even though they're brain dead sort of folks and the lazy boys sitting there half asleep because their average demographic at Fox is like 97. It's Chuck Grassley, basically. Right. Even all of them, I don't think they're going to even believe that bullshit, frankly.
Well, the circus-like atmosphere continued. The nonsense continued on Jesse Waters' show. Here he is surrounded. I want the audience to take note here of all of the literally thousands of possibilities of guests they could have gotten. Who does he choose to surround himself with? A Trump lawyer, a literal Trump, and a Trump lapdog in Clay Travis. Watch this.
Let's say the president, after the election, during the controversy, gets sent affidavits about election fraud or gets sent reports about election fraud, and let's just say, I don't know, Philly. And he says, you guys in Philly, you legislators, look into this. Can you guys hold a hearing? Can you guys investigate? Or maybe send in some Trump electors, and if it shakes out differently, they're on standby. How is that a crime?
It is not a crime at all.
What do you say? What is there to say about this absolute peddling of bullshit to a Fox News audience only in an effort to be of service to Donald Trump and obstruct the justice that will absolutely be served in this case?
Right. And like you brought up Republicans before, it's the same thing with Fox. They're so in bed with him. They tie themselves so closely to him that, whatever his fate is will be their fate. So, I mean, Alina Navagila, I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
I really don't. And if anything, that was a Jewish joke, and I'm Jewish, so don't come kill me, folks. She's sitting there, she's like, no, it's not. Yeah, it is a crime.
Yeah.
I'm not even a lawyer, and she theoretically is. And yes, bringing fake electors, it puts it right there in the Constitution that, first of all, the president can't order that. That comes from the states. It's the states' jobs with electors. The judges and the legislatures are involved in this. He is not involved in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, sending fake electors when you know they're fake and when they shouldn't, nobody else should even be there to begin with, is illegal. He ran somebody over with their car. Is that a crime? Well, yeah, that's a crime. I mean,
I find it very interesting the drumbeat from Republicans about objectivity. Donald Trump, I said this the other day, that unless you're a campaign donor who has endorsed him for the presidency in 2024, you cannot be, in his eyes, objective in this case. Yet, Fox News, of all the people they have to choose from, they choose a Trump lawyer, and a Trump ass kisser to be on the panel, as though that is objective.
It's balance between the ass kissing and the lawyering. And I know, well, this is what they do all the time now. And actually it goes to a broader point. I'll just say it quickly. It pisses me off. We let them get away with this kind of stuff. Like, sure. They had that hearing the other day on the weaponization of government. And Christopher Wray was there, lifetime Republican, right? Conservative, appointed to the FBI by Donald Trump, and Biden kept him because he seemed like he was being relatively honest. Everybody can have their own opinions on whether he should have kept him, but maybe Biden thought it would look bad to kick him out. And they started accusing him of using the FBI in some liberal conspiracy or plot. And at some point, he just started laughing. He's like, do you know anything about me? Do you know my career? Right. And this is like a Federalist Society type guy who's been in with conservatives his entire life. And that's the thing. If you don't say exactly what they want you to say, you're liberal. Liz Cheney is liberal now, right?
Absolutely.
It's hilarious. So you're right. They make those accusations, and we don't ever enough point out back how ludicrous it is. And the key final point to make there, because it was from an earlier video you showed with Jesse Waters, when he keeps saying Biden's DOJ, it is not. Biden appointed Merrick Garland. It is the independent DOJ, which Joe Biden has treated that way completely, to the point where everybody wanted Merrick Garland to move faster. Biden wouldn't say a thing about it.
Right. It's
Trump, whose plan we've already seen to come into government and bring all of these agencies under the dictator, so that they won't have any independence.
Listen, I'm someone who absolutely criticizes Joe Biden when I feel it's necessary.
Sure.
But there is in no way, shape, no form, even an open door, a crack of an open door to criticize Joe Biden about interfering with this DOJ. It is not his DOJ. Nope. He has been above board in every single way. Every step of the way has been hands off in influencing this DOJ, to the point that his son is now facing criminal charges, justifiably so, and he's not even getting involved there. He's being a stand-up guy about it.
I mean, you're right. And I mean, the problem here, honestly, is, the founders could foresee so much or whatever, and certainly they had a lot of blind spots, and even folks since them. But there were times of crisis in the past. We were able to do some things, pass amendments, change some of the mistakes we made. We can't now because we have a whole large group of people on the right who just will not change anything, will not do anything, because all they care about is power. And I think if you do care about the separation of powers, there should be some kind of a solution to the attorney general. I personally think it would be great if it were like the FBI director or CIA director, that they had a 10-year term, so that in a way you depoliticized it somewhat. So they didn't just get brought in by a president and leave with that president or that kind of thing. That doesn't solve everything. And maybe there's other things, because Trump has started this now, and you can bet every Republican going forward, DeSantis has talked about it now. If he were to win, they will turn now
without
the attorney general and the FBI director into their own, Stasi. And we need
the thing
reforms.
that they are threatening, or the thing that they are leveling accusations against Biden for weaponizing the DOJ, is the thing they want to do more than anything else, without a doubt. So thanks for joining us today. And by us, I mean me. Tell the folks out there.
Us. You're an us I like. It's all good.
Tell the folks out there where they can find you, and then I will encourage them to do so.
So on that screen there, youtube.com, C Schecter. Go there. I have a growing YouTube, and Jesse has helped in that process. A lot of good content. You can find me on Threads, which I'm pushing a little more these days, at Cliff D. Schecter. And on the crazy old Twitter machine with impotent Elon Musk and his blowing up cars, I'm at Cliff Schecter there. I guess we're still going to stay there until they turn the lights out and Elon's kicked out of the building. But those are the places. And otherwise, whether Jesse likes it or not, I'm just going to keep showing up here. I mean, he may not let me in, but I'll find a way to hack into the feed. So, you'll find me.
I don't know why, but I feel safe that that you're not going to be hacking into anything.
Trust me. That was a joke, and Jesse, it kind of upsets me that Jesse knows how much smarter he is than I am. It's a little bit insulting, frankly.
You guys are awesome. We would welcome your questions. 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email daily@dollemore.com. We absolutely, and by we again, I mean me, welcome your participation in this conversation. If you want to follow me on social media, I am at Dollemore everywhere: Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, all of the social medias.
The stuffs.
We, meaning me and Cliff, will see you later. We appreciate you, and be genuine. Take care of one another.